For Achieva University Theatre. Thank you very much for that powerful cultural display. On this note, we want to move to the high point of this opening ceremony, which is the delivery of the keynote address. It's a pleasure to invite Dr. O.T. Ore to read the citation of our keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. With the kind permission of Vice-Chancellor, may I humbly request the keynote speaker to be upstanding while I read his citation. Professor Kayode Adebowale was born on January 11, 1962 in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. He is a proud alumnus of the University of Ibadan. He gained admission to the University of Ibadan in September 1980 and obtained a BS degree in chemistry in June 1984. I thought somebody is excited about that. He participated in the National Youth Service Corps scheme at the Community Secondary School, Ibiaku, Uruan, Uyo local government in the former Cross River State, now Akwa Ibom State, from 1984 to 1985. If you are happy, please do it better. He commenced his postgraduate studies at the University of Ibadan immediately after his service year in 1985. He earned his MS degree in industrial chemistry in September 1986 and PhD in industrial chemistry in October 1991. He began his academic career at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, in October 1991 as lecturer grade 2. He returned to the University of Ibadan in 1999 as senior lecturer, rose through the ranks to become a professor in October 2006. He had postdoctoral experience in Germany and Italy. His cognate administrative experience includes Dean, Faculty of Science, 2009 to 2011. Director, Special Duties, Office of the Vice-Chancellor, 2015 to 2017. And two-term Deputy Vice-Chancellor Administration, 2018 to 2021, among others. He has supervised many BSc and MSc projects and 16 doctoral students, many of whom are professors in Nigerian universities and abroad. He has published over 150 peer-reviewed articles in peer-reviewed national and international journals and 2 patents. I think even if it's not understand this, the academic community should appreciate better. He has instituted and funded 2 annual awards for members of the Nigerian Young Academy. Professor Kayode Adebowale National Scientist Prize for Women in Chemical Sciences and Professor Kayode Adebowale National Scientist Prize, which is to promote original research in chemical sciences among young scientists in Nigeria from 2014 till date. He has served as a reviewer for several national and international journals. This includes Journal of Hazardous Materials, Chemistry and Ecology, African Journal of Technology, please clap, Journal of Environmental Management, Food Research International, Journal of Food Composition and Analysis, Thermochemical Data, Biochemical Engineering, Carbohydrate Polymers, Food Research International, International Journal of Biological Macromolecules, and European Journal of Food Research, among others. His research area includes production, optimization, and improvement of yield of ethanol and citric acid from the fermentation media, thermocatalytic conversion of waste and biomass into useful industrial feedstocks, composition and possible industrialization of seeds, seed oils as industrial raw materials, rheological and baking properties of non-wheat flours, physicochemical, functional properties, and retrogradation behavior of native and modified starches, and protein concentrates of underutilized legumes and cereals. Synthesis, kinetics of production, and characterization of oil-modified acid resin, kinetic and thermodynamic studies of the absorption of metals and organic materials on kaolinite clay and fossil logic modeling of environmental compartments. He received the International Foundation for Science grant amounting to $12,000 in 2002, the African Union Kwame Nkrumah Continental Scientific Award for Science, Technology and Innovation to the sum of $100,000 in 2014. And lead researcher of the Alexander von Humboldt College Regional Expert Conference on Climate Change and Sustainable Development, Cultural and Techno-Environmental Responses in West Africa, worth €27,000 among others. As a researcher on Scopus, he has been cited 4,918 times. That's a big deal. And so I'll come again. As a researcher on Scopus, he has been cited 4,918 times in 3,859 articles with an H index of 42. On Google Scholar, he has been cited 8,958 times in 3,812 articles with an I-10 index of 93 and an H index of 52. He is a fellow of the following learning societies: the Science Association of Nigeria, the Chemical Society of Nigeria, the Polymer Institute of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Academy of Science. Outside the shores of the country, he is a fellow Royal Society of Chemistry, African Academy of Science in Kenya, and the Alexander von Humboldt in Germany. He is also a fellow of the Society for Peace Studies and Practice, and a fellow of Nigerian Mining and Geosciences Society. He attended the Senior Executive Course 39 in 2017 at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, leading to the award of Member of National Institute. He is currently, and I say again, he is currently the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan from November 1, 2021. He is happily married to Dr. Yemisi Adebowale Adebowale, and the union is blessed with 3 children, Temitayo, Ayobami, and Ayomide. For somebody with such an enormous background and wealth of experience, please join me to give a heartfelt welcome to our keynote speaker, Professor Kayode Adebowale.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after reading that long citation, I felt smaller than what has been read. I felt smaller and also felt more humble. Let me say that it's a privilege for me to be here. First, let me appreciate our father here, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council, Professor Ayori. You know, there are few universities that have a professor being, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council. So I didn't expect less. Congratulations on your promotion to the position of professor. My prayer for you is that you will go to greater heights here. This is just a beginning. Let me also appreciate our amiable Vice-Chancellor. The number one citizen of Achievers University. And also a great alumnus of the University of Ibadan, Professor Omolola. I appreciate you, man. Baba, Professor, don't worry if I use Baba first. Somebody that is already knocking at 80 years is definitely much more qualified than Baba. Grandpa, Baba, Adetula. I appreciate you. All the principal officers of the university, I appreciate all of you. The chairman of the local organizing committee of this very important conference, I sincerely appreciate you. All staff and students of this very great university, I also extend my hand of appreciation. Permit me to just make some few comments before I go ahead, to deliver the keynote address. Before we came in here, we had the opportunity to take a guided tour of this university. My impression, I am impressed. I am impressed, I am challenged. And in fact, I am educated. Because usually education is a lifelong education. Till one enters the grave, he will continue to be educated. There are so many things that I have seen that I have decided not to put in my pocket, but also to put inside my heart about university. I will reveal it in the open. Probably I will reveal it to the Vice-Chancellor thereafter. But I will say that this is a university. A university that is, organizing this type of, program. This is the fifth time. It's a university. University is not mortar and bricks. University is how, we carry out our activities. And one of the things that separates university out from outside is the kind of thing that we are gathering here to be able to sit down, to ruminate on issues that we feel that we'll be able to not only impact the academia, but also impact the general society. I congratulate you. I congratulate the dean. I congratulate the entire university. Number two, I took a causal look at those, that are seated here, prepared for the conference. And I tried to gauge the age. I see that a large number of those that are seated here are those that will be expected. They are either early career researchers or students. And these are the people that for us to continue to be academics, these are the people that we are going to hand over to. This university is generally friendly. And can I tell you, can I announce to you that it is women that will take over the world tomorrow. Yes. At the University of Ibadan, we have 3 deputy vice-chancellors. 2 of them are women. So again, I congratulate you and congratulate you and congratulate you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have a PowerPoint presentation, but I am not going to look at it now. Perhaps if there is time for me to look at it, I will come back. I will come back to it and run over it like a fast train. All that I want to do is to make some submissions. Some submissions that will not only excite us, but also spur us, but also challenge us, to think in the direction of how tomorrow will be. I'm somebody that thinks so much about tomorrow. Today, yes, about tomorrow. What is the trend of science and technology? Where are we going? I'm going to make my submissions also about how we are preparing even in Africa. The African Union spoke about Agenda 2063, which is the Africa that we want. The mantra is Africa that we want. That mantra is very, very important because it is a 50-year plan. And it divided it, I think we have finished the first 10 years. And even after 10 years, you can see a direction. And I can tell you as a university, the centerpiece, of the direction of our research is Africa. Because I can tell you, the challenges that we have enormous resources. We are supposed to be leaders now, today. But I can tell you, tomorrow we will take over the world because of the resources that we have. If in the continent, up to 60% at 25 years and below, what can you say about that? Resources. But it is important for us to be able to come together, to be able to integrate. And that's why, when I saw the theme of this conference, it is very, very apt. And I know that it will also be very transformative. There is innovation there. There is integration and collaboration there. And there is science and technology. We need nothing more. So I expect that at this conference, by the time I finish my presentation, I expect that even during the presentation, of which I may not be here, but I just hope that you have put together people that will be able to the highlights of this conference, to put them together, and to have a very strong community writing team to be able to project all the things, the output of this conference. I'm sure it's going to go beyond the four corners of this auditorium. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me just make my submission. The submission that I'm going to make is going to be in two directions. There's going to be one that is very big, also the one that will challenge academia. Because when I say challenge academia, also challenging myself. Because I am in the academics. I cannot be in any other place apart from the academics. No other place. I am not someone that came, that was fed with silver spoon, very dry ground. By the time I was entering the academics, I had other alternatives. That is better. My first salary in 1991 as lecturer grade 2 was 850 naira. I applied to Shell before then, and I was to be given 20,000 naira. And I refused it. I didn't go. And some people said, "Is something wrong with you? We knew how you struggled on your undergraduate." I won't tell you all those stories. It's going to be for another time. You know, I told you that I'm a man of very few words. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the era in which we are is an era that is defined with technological innovation. And one with it are specific global challenges. One of the global challenges we kept on mentioning is climate change. Climate change is one of the challenges that we face that is facing us. Because it is even challenging the existence of this planet. I don't know any other planet that is habitable to human beings apart from the Earth. So if you have a challenge that is challenging our living here on Earth, you know that it's a very serious challenge. And apart from that, there are other things. There are healthcare challenges, disparities, there is cybersecurity threats, and so on, sustainable energy demands, and particularly now, geopolitical shifts. That's another tendency that has entered the world. You know that the United States is the global leader in research, in science and technology. There is no nation that can match them. But you see that with the coming in of this administration, that is anti-science and development, that is anti-research, you will know that there will be a lot of gaps. Now we have a lot of gaps. I'm sure that by the time the current president of the United States will hopefully, I don't know whether I'm praying that it's not finished, but hopefully, by the time he finishes, there will be, and that's why we that belong to the global south, and then the European Union, there are opportunities that are created now for us. In many of our collaboration, the University of Ibadan is in the U7 plus universities in the world. And I can tell you, with our recent meeting, few weeks ago in Ottawa, nearly 80% of what we discussed are just gaps that we have in research. You see that grants, percentage grants to so many areas are reducing because the United States is moving their hand, the present government. In fact, the Department of Education in the United States is really being attacked. Almost 60% of their staff, the person that is called Trump has retired them. In fact, forced retirement. What we are talking about, the climate change and so on, the administration is so skeptical. When you are skeptical about something that is staring at you, at face, and something that is even challenging your living, you know that there is a problem. I am presenting that to us, for us to know that the solution, the way to go, is collaborative, interdisciplinary, and bold scientific innovation. And I can say that all those key points are captured. They are captured in this conference. I will expect that when papers will be presented, if there are people that have written their papers, by the time I finish, if there are things that you need to adjust there, so that you can situate it properly to be able to address the present challenges, please go ahead and do it. Because that is what we do good. I love the vision of the university, the vision of the University of Ibadan. Encourage the vision of, because our vision is to be a world-class institution of higher learning that is geared towards meeting societal needs. All those ingredients, just like you want to cook a soup, all the ingredients that you have there is also the ingredients of the vision of Achievers University. And I can tell you, as the Vice-Chancellor, I am making the pledge. We have a Vice-Chancellor that is in charge. Our third, we have three Deputy Vice-Chancellors. There's a Deputy Vice-Chancellor that is in charge of administration. There's a Deputy Vice-Chancellor that is in charge of academics. But we have the third that is for research, innovation, and strategic partnerships. It will handshake with the university. We have an MOU with Achievers University. It is not as if we are bigger. It is not as if we are better. But I know that this university also have comparative. It is based on comparative advantage. It is not going to be a 100 to 0 type of collaboration. We don't even do that. Even with developed countries, the comparative advantage that is here, it will be made available to the University of Ibadan. And the comparative advantage of the University of Ibadan, we will make sure that, and it's going to be a general MOU. But that is the way to go. There is no other way. I spoke to you about Agenda 2063, which is the agenda of the African Union. It is a strategic framework that people gathered together. It started from 2013 to 2063, 50 years, to see how Africa will look like by the year 2063. I don't know how many of us will still be alive at that time, but I know that Africa will have moved very far by the time, because this Agenda 2063 is seated on seven pillars. But when you look at all those pillars, there is no pillar there that does not talk of collaboration. When even the mantra is Africa we want, it's not the Africa that I want. It's Africa that we want. There is no person, there is no research that can go anywhere if you stay on the corner of your house and be doing it in form of silo. It will not work. Gone are those days when we talk of Einstein's theory, when we talk of all those theories that it is just going to be from one. Things have gone very, very far. And in fact, people have used some of those theories now. Because if you see the way artificial intelligence is moving, just like wildfire, my only fear is that as a nation, we need to sit down and bring out a policy. If we don't have an AI policy now, and we are still petting, after many years, we will not be able to catch up with it. There are ethical considerations that we need to. Whatsoever AI does, there must be human oversight. Without human oversight, it will acquit us. And that is what we see. Unfortunately, we have really not sat down. The National University Commission is bringing up a team that will be able to address it. We attended the conference at the University of London. And I know that the University of London has one. You know, University of Ibadan started as a college of the University of London in 1948. And the first three principals came directly from University of London. If you see me, you will see that I'm carrying two lapels. One lapel is the University of Ibadan. The other lapel is the University of London. We still remain. After that conference, even though we started very well and everything was going on, they already have a policy. They have an AI policy at the University of London. But you know, many of these things are closely guarded. As a nation, even though they release some few things to us, but it is good as a nation to sit down and try to adapt it. Adapt it to, to our condition, the condition that we have here. Agenda 2063, I will not go into details because it is just, we are just moving off from it. Another initiative that I want to speak about is the issue of the Pan-African University. The issue of Pan-African University is also an initiative of the African Union. It is for us to have 5 universities in Africa to sit down on postgraduates. It's actually a research-intensive university. To sit down together because it is believed that it is Africans that can address Africa's developmental problems and challenges. By competitive bidding. So the implication is that for South Africa there will be one. For West Africa there will be one. North Central there will be one. East Africa there will be one. All together making 5. For them, all together, the African Union heads of state are supposed to contribute because that university is like free. Once you come in, your tuition fee is born. Let me announce to you that University of Ibadan, by competitive bidding, won one of the slots representing the West African sub-region. We have Pan-African University for Life and Art Science Institute, including Health and Agriculture. And there are thematic areas for each of them. As we speak right now on our campus, we have students from 46 African countries that are resident in our university. But that is the way to go. That is the way to go. Every of those countries, they bring their strength. Recently, they did the matriculation. I was excited because we gave opportunity to some of those people to speak. When you see the strength that they are bringing, it is when you go outside here. But one thing that I know, one thing that is clear, is that when you take cord on all the countries of Africa, you will see that the cord will pass through because we have similarities. A Nigerian has similarity with a Kenyan. A Kenyan has similarity with a Ghanaian. And so all the countries of Africa. If it is possible to harness those strengths and put them together, Africa will not be where we are. Togo, as we kept on talking about it, is that we should come together. There must be collaboration. When we took some promotion papers in the university very recently, there was a particular lecturer who is from the sciences. And all that he was doing is to make single author paper. You see, our promotion guidelines at the university is that we look at percentage contribution. So whether you are 2, whether you are 3, whether you are 4, if you are many, the highest that you can get is going to be 10%. And it's going to affect because we have a weighted average. For professor, it's 70. For reader, it's 50. Down to lecturer 2 or lecturer 1 and senior lecturer. So that candidate was just sitting underneath his roof and we rejected him for promotion. Why? Because he did not collaborate. I can tell you that even in the humanities, gone are those days, that you say you are thinking, no. Humanities, social sciences, very, very important for more than one person so that there can be cross-fertilization and better. There was one paper that was published about a few weeks ago in Science. There are 150 authors there. One of our colleagues in the Department of Biochemistry, was part of that. If I was lead, was number one author there. It was the paper was on Drosophila melanogaster. I hope we know Drosophila is what Yorùbá call a ṣìkọrin. You know a ṣìkọrin? Tó máa ń wà lórí ògì, tó máa ń ṣe bilibili lórí ògì. The DNA of that small organism mimics that of a human being. And therefore, it is easy to be able to manipulate it in order to do a lot of work. Very, very important organism. If you get to the laboratory of that brother, he has various grades of Drosophila. More than 15, 20 all over. Drosophila from Ogi, Drosophila from this and so on. And they behave slightly differently. Very, very interesting. But that is where science and technology is going. I was telling you about the Pan-African University. One representing West Africa. The one that is in East Africa is in Kenya. And their emphasis is on basic science, technology, and innovation, on STI. They have taken off. I think we are almost marking 20 years now. In fact, we have gone now to the second phase. And it is now being supported by the African Development Bank. There is also one that is in Algeria. That is on the Institute of Water and Energy Science. Anything about water and energy science, you will find it at that university in Telche in Algeria. There is also one for North Central or African Central is in Yaoundé, is in Cameroon. And the final one on aerospace and aeronautics engineering is in South Africa. Is at the University of Stellenbosch, South Africa. That is the way to go. That is the way to go. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all that we have been saying is that it is imperative that we integrate in research. Science and technology can no longer advance in isolation. You can't stay in the corner of your room, cover your books and so on, because I remember those days when you are doing the research and so on, and your friend comes in, so that you do not see it, quickly cover it. I just wasting your time. Because that person will not go, higher more than what is covering. In these days, when groundbreaking discoveries, they happen at the intersection of disciplines. It is when we have more than one discipline coming together that you have breakthroughs. When artificial intelligence, when it is meeting medicine. You see, in the workshop that was carried out at the University of London, some of their students, some of the students, either those of them that are doing specialist courses in medicine, or those that are doing the MBBS, they came and made a presentation. We were thrilled. You know that in medicine, you need coming together is always imperative, because you want to second opinion. When you diagnose a patient and so on, you want to call somebody, for them to be able to confirm what you did. So they did, almost 5-6 years of work. That there is one that is only dependent on just human beings doing the diagnosis. And then adding artificial intelligence into it. Do you know that those ones that was assisted by artificial intelligence, their diagnosis almost 100%. And they did it on live patients. So it's a research work of 5 years. That tells us that, we have not seen the end of AI. In fact, this is just the beginning. These days also, there is a transaction between nanotechnology that is merging with renewable energy. Data science is transforming agriculture in so many ways. Each time that I look at our agricultural practices, it is for us to shed tears. Because the input of science, technology, and innovation is at the lowest. I had that first time from a contact because when I attended the senior executive course at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in 2017, we were there, just like putting somebody inside an incubator for more than 10 months. Even as a professor. There were 66 of us. I can tell you, for that 10 months, apart from Saturdays and Sundays, I can tell you how many hours that any of us sleep. We visited 25 countries, both in Africa and outside. We visited 36 states in Nigeria. And we also visited strategic institutions. And at all those points, we ran the right committee. All those many thousands, it is to reduce it to only 3 pages. And all the ingredients must not be lost. All the ingredients must be present there. For 21 days or more, I didn't close my eyes. But that is how it is. It is to be able to sift out all the details so that it will go straight to policy. Many of the policies that we enjoy today is from the National Institute in Kuru. Implementation strategies will be there. All the details of what did we find out? In all the countries, for example, in Nigeria, close to 70% are involved in agriculture. And we cannot even feed ourselves. In Israel was one of the countries. Only 3.0% are involved in agriculture. And the export. When you look at our cattle, what are you looking for in cattle? Beef and milk. The milk that we produce in Nigeria is just about 2.5 liters per cattle. In Israel, one cattle produces 65 liters in one day. How will it not be that? When you transport cattle over thousands of kilometers, it will have lost everything about it. Even some of the proteins that we eat, that we say you are eating protein. If you go and determine the digestibility, you will know that you are not eating protein. You are eating something else. Digestibility will be poor. Whether it's in vivo, whether it's in vitro, it will be poor. And particularly, you know that we conduct research. Yes. But you know that also our agricultural extension service has collapsed. Agricultural extension is to be able to distill the output of research to farmers. And we know that we have limitations because the level of literacy in Nigeria is low. So the agricultural extension staff that we need the people that will be able to understand the language of the farmers. There are research that people are carrying out, but it's just there floating. No person to be able to distill it to the farmers. The International Institute of Tropical Agriculture is doing a lot of work, but unfortunately, it is not getting to the farmers the way it should be. In Israel, they call it the Golden Triangle. Research, government, and farmers. They live in the same enclosure. If there is any problem with agriculture and so on, the farmers are able to speak to research. For them to be able to address, government is there, just like a triple type of model. They are able to provide support. There are many of what we call smart agriculture that no one. All people still talk of seeds and so on, no seedling, there are breeding techniques, so many things. Let me just go ahead. So that it will not just be. And we are still talking about the intersection, between disciplines that it is very, very important. It is very, very important for us to move forward. If you see the Human Genome Project, you will know that it's a triumph. It's a triumph because it is an intersection between three disciplines. And I can congratulate Nigeria. We have a center of excellence at the Redeemers University. Fantastic people working there. That is this Professor Happy. Fantastic. Well known or renowned. Why we didn't have some of those during COVID or during Ebola is because of the research that was carried out.